So education to prepare students, the responsibility, we talk about the curriculum. I think sometimes when we talk about the curriculum, I think it's kind of the passive-aggressive passing the buck, I have to admit. But then I want to question who really owns the curriculum?
The faculty.
Ooh, Bill, who owns the curriculum? Well, who's supposed to own the curriculum?
Traditionally, it has been the faculty, and that wasn't a problem when the management of colleges and universities grew out of the faculty. Since the corporatization of education, I think it's a struggle for who owns it. Right now, we are in a protracted, multi-generational struggle.
And that's where I kind of want to seg into this kind of, Rashid, you know, I want to seg into that conversation because if we're talking about education, what should education do to prepare students for retirement, and we're talking about the curriculum. If now we're in this battle between who owns the curriculum, is it faculty or is it corporate America who now is coming in to inform the curriculum?
Could I shift gears on that a little bit?
Well, hold on. Then I want to know is it really in the best interest to educate students with financial literacy?
Well, okay. Let me say this. I have to take you all back to my early days in academics. We used to talk about lifelong learning. Haven't heard that term much lately. It has been incorporated to some degree, but we learn throughout our lives. And education, I think, has to, the model of community education, which was frankly pioneered in city colleges, needs to reach out to those communities where the kids need to, see that it's possible to have resources. Yeah. We also need to have opportunities for people to plug back in at 30 and 40, for people to plug back in other than through these traditional MBA type programs, but through the various opportunities to learn leadership, which we did have. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to go to a management of lifelong learning seminar for 2 weeks at Harvard University. Wonderful thing for preparing adult learners for the next stage. And one of the articles I looked up was from human resources perspective. How do companies, what responsibility do they have to prepare workers for that transition? So I think lifelong learning, pairing with industry, pairing with communities, colleges could help with that, but it's not going to all be like the 18 to 25-year-olds. You're going to have to educate some 40-year-olds, some 50-year-olds.
No, that's right.
And it's really, I think we all own the process of developing curriculum. I mean, even at the city college level, we've seen a reorganization of the curriculum, of the program offerings, and that was very much a reaction to the needs of our community. How do we best position our graduates, our newly credentialed graduates to be viable in the marketplace? And so we augmented what we do in order to best serve them. And so their voice was heard. We heard the voice of the private sector. All of us came together and made a decision about how we should reform our educational offerings to be more responsive to their needs. And so it gets back to the point that you made. I mean, it's very clear that we have to be agitators. We have to be active participants and proper stewards of free society. I mean, we live in a free society, but if you don't use that responsibility the way it should be, then you will be exploited.
Well, yeah, I think that's what general education is supposed to do. Yes, I believe that every college graduate should take courses, basic courses in economics, micro and microeconomics courses.
That's heavy.
Yes. But you cannot live in a capitalist society like this one and not know the basic concepts of finance.
And that may be the reason why so many students are bamboozled left and right, and actually are bamboozled and don't even know.
Well, the critical thinking is, I think, the most important. If you're going to have a capitalist society, your sword is your ability to think, your education. Right. So, with having to come up...
but we've seen that there's been a nice agenda to remove critical thinking from curriculum.
I know several schools have gotten rid of their humanities department, have merged it with something else, the classics.
Taking out the arts.
Only some of the bigger schools have classics departments, and anything that takes you away from critical thinking makes you exploitable.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is a very good way to end. Anything that removes critical thinking will make you exploitable.
Amen.
You heard it here first.
You're here.
And we heard it from Nick first.
Right on, Nick.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.